Good evening and welcome to our celebration of the renaming of the Lansing Youth Center to the Patti Leach Youth Center. We have several distinguished speakers this evening: former Mayor Bob West, former Mayor Dan Podgorski, Mr. Ed Mahoney, Mr. Bob Hine, Linda Elbricht, Tina Wedding, each of them sharing their memory or experience of the Youth Center and Patti Leach for us to enjoy. Finally, Mayor Norm Abbott, who will say a few words and invite us all outside for the unveiling of the new Youth Center sign. There are a few people I want to personally thank for helping to coordinate this event. Ms. Tina Wedding, a woman whose thoughts and convictions run true to her heart. She was director here for 9 years. I got to know Tina through her being a trustee, for my being her trustee for the Youth Center. We had many breakfasts together discussing new ideas for the program and the center. We planned the 10th anniversary celebration of the Youth Center with Patti Leach, and looking back, I now realize how precious that time was. Tina is a woman dedicated to helping youth. She has a career now as an excellent elementary school teacher. I know because I was one of her guest speakers on Career Day. I would also like to make mention that Tina designed what is now the new logo for the Youth Center. We had several options to choose from, and Tina submitted hers with no expectations, but the committee, as well as many other people who were asked to see it, loved it. So you will see this this evening on the new sign, as well as the t-shirts. Chris Mahoney was also part of our committee. She wanted to be part of this and contacted Vivian, the mayor's assistant, to join us. She loved Patti and was part of the Youth Center's beginning, having been appointed by Mayor West to the Youth Center Commission. She worked side by side with Patti, tearing down walls of the old church to rebuild for the future. She, along with Bob Hine, Camille Johnson, Valerie McHugh, Dan Podgorski, and many others, put their heart and soul into this project. Chris's high energy level, warmth, and great friendship only added to the fact that she is a woman who has the ways and means to get things done. It was through her that I learned the term male merge. And I also want to thank Jenna Comer-Hill, who is the current director of the Youth Center. Jenna comes up with so many programs for her members, I can't keep up. She is always trying to find new ideas and help them keep their grades up and succeed in life. Her Builders Club raises money for charitable organizations and field trips for themselves, and this evening, in fact, helped to decorate the center to set up for the event. Jenna is a gracious woman who, when tossed into a heartfelt event such as this, was very accommodating, as well as being a contributing factor. And while I know this is bittersweet that we come together for this occasion, I'll laugh and be happy. Walk around and enjoy the many pictures of the center's past members displayed in the lower hallway, and enjoy yourself. I know Patti would have wanted that above all. I would like to now introduce our first speaker, former Mayor Bob West.
Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and I would thank the committee for inviting me to come tonight. I've known Patti Leach for over 20 years, and about 1997, I had the privilege to run with her for village office. I was running for mayor and she was trustee. And at the time, Patti was the president of the Llano Park Board. One of her goals was to find a center in this community for the youth to go after school. She was very concerned with the fact that a lot of young people had nowhere to go. Kids would go home, no parents there. They were called latchkey kids, as she told me. And if you all knew Patti, she had a great sense of humor, but she also had a very serious side. And the day that she was elected trustee, she told me I had to refer to her from then on as HPL. When I asked her what HPL meant, she said, Honorable Patti Leach. I said, well, you were president of the park board. She goes, yeah, but now I'm more honorable. I said, oh, okay. But one of the things that she pushed for all the time was to find this youth center. And when this building became available, it was a former church. Patti sat on my shoulder until we actually got something done about it. Every day she called me, what are we doing, what are we doing? And finally, she set up a tour for everybody, all the trustees and some of the village people. Where's Ken? Ken Straka here? He was on the park board then. We all came down here and looked at the building, and it was going to be quite a challenge, but Patti insisted that it would work. And Grace told us that we needed to have it in the center of town in order to get the money to qualify for the building. But I just want to say thank you for asking me to be here. It's an honor, and it's finally great to see how that should be recognized in this way. This building will always be known as the Patti Leach Youth Center, and I think it's a wonderful thing. So thank you very much.
And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Bob Hine.
I had a speech wrote, and on the way here, I thought of Patty, and she wasn't much of a speech person, and neither am I, so I just want to touch on some things Patti Leach did to help get the youth center open. I was fortunate to meet her about 15 years ago at Coolidge School, volunteering for Market Day. She was telling me thoughts of what they wanted to do with the center and asked if I would be interested. So I told her I would be, and sometime later she gave me a call and she says, "Are you home?" I says, "Yeah." She goes, "Good, I'm outside, I'm coming in, I might need to talk to you." So she suckered me in. She created a board of 7 adults to oversee the youth center. She got me involved in that. She also got a youth board going with kids from 6th through 12th grade. And they kind of designed the youth center, and then with all the volunteers that Patty got, we started working. Every day I would meet her here. She'd get off of school, I'd get off of work, we'd take her truck, we'd go to Menards and load her truck up with materials. This went on for 7 months. We'd be here till 10:30 at night. We had kids up from 11 years old to moms to dads to grandparents, you name it, they were up here, and Patty had us ripping down walls, ripping up tile floors, taking ceilings down, you name it, Patty had us doing it. She really had the passion for this place, and she really had the passion to get volunteers to come up here and put their time in. We would work till 10:30 every night, except when she had board meeting nights. But I was usually one of the last ones, and she would say, "Lock me in, I'm gonna stay here longer." So I don't know what time she used to leave, but I'd get home, my phone would ring, and it'd be Patty with new ideas, suggestions, and the joke around my house is my other wife was calling because that went on for 7 months. Very good person. I know, we all know Patty. I know this isn't what she would want, but it's well deserved for the time and effort she put in up here. And I think the most of all is to keep the place open, and the support of the village would make her very happy. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Miss Linda Elbrecht.
Hi, my name is Linda Albrecht. I actually met Patty when I was 5 years old. She was my gym teacher at Coolidge School. But then when I became a teacher at Coolidge School, she was my mentor from the time I got there. In 1995, I became the district enrichment teacher, and we were part of a program called Community Problem Solving. And we were looking for a problem to solve in the community, and Patty had one for us. We took the enrichment students at Memorial Junior High School, took on the problem of what we would need for a youth center in Lansing. So the students brainstormed, surveyed the other students, found out what would be needed in the youth center. And when you tour the youth center today, a lot of the ideas they came up with in that class are visible throughout this building. And Patty was an integral part of that. That project joined Patty's loves, the village, the children, and education. The project gave the children a chance to apply their skills, as well as provided much needed input for the building of this youth center. As a result of that project, the students actually won a state competition and headed on to an international competition in Providence, Rhode Island. We needed a chaperone to come with us on the trip, and Patty was more than happy to oblige and go with us on a bus with about 15 junior high students, along with some high school students we shared the bus with, on a bus trip all the way to Providence, Rhode Island. And that was a trip of a lifetime. When you run into students from that time, that's an experience they said they'll never forget. And Patty went right along with it after school went out. No sleep for a week, supervising these students, but it was a chance of a lifetime. And not only was a glutton for punishment with that, we did the project again the next year and expanded on our work. That was to see how we could get people interested in coming to the youth center. The students, through a dance that raised money, they actually paid for the sound system in this building, and also raised awareness for the beginning of the center. And they won the state competition again, and again Patty volunteered to chaperone the trip. This time we were a little closer to Michigan. We went to the University of Michigan, but Patty was right there. With all of our work, it got everyone involved, and it provided a connection for those students for a lifetime to this building, and also for me as well. Not only after my completion of that, Patty convinced me to take this on as a second job. For many years, I was a youth center employee as well. So I just hope for all the youth that are here today that you remember that connection and what Patti Leach brought to you, and be thankful for this place you have.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ed Mahoney.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Anyone that knows Miss Leach knows about the megaphone. Just like to start off by saying good evening, everyone. My name is Eddie Mahoney, and I too have benefited from this youth center. In 1996, when I was 15 years old, Miss Leach, who was prior my gym teacher at Coolidge Elementary, asked me if I'd like to be involved in a new venture. If anyone knows Miss Leach and she asks you to be involved in a new venture, you want to hear her out first before saying yes. So as you can imagine, I was a little leery. When she explained what I'd be doing, I jumped on the chance to demolish a building and turn it into something special. We tore out walls, insulated walls, drywalled, polished, and spit shined this place to get it to where it was today. We contacted residents and businesses that service the village of Lansing and asked them for donations to furnish this place. The outpouring of the community spirit was unbelievable. We accepted couches, chairs, computers, and even a big screen TV. After a couple of hard months, we were in business. We opened the following years to as many as 100 kids a day. After several months of hard work, Ms. Leach had informed me that due to my hard work and diligence, that she was going to nominate me for the Cook County Sheriff's Youth Service Medal of Honor. It took me by surprise because I'd taken on this task to help her out for everything that Ms. Leach has done for me and my family. So I wanted to help her out in any way possible as a token of my appreciation for her kindness. She was the one you went to when you needed someone to talk to, and she was always helping kids find their fun. When I won the award, Ms. Leach accompanied me and my mother to the event in the city to cheer me on. It was a great honor. In good times or bad, one thing Ms. Leach used to always tell me is that life goes on. And because of what Ms. Leach has done in this village for the love of the children, I can think of no better way to remember her and to let her life go on as we rename this the Patti Leach Youth Center. Thank you.
I'd like to now introduce Ms. Tina Weddick.
Patti Leach was my boss, my mentor, and my friend. The first time I spoke to Patti Leach was on the phone in October of 1999 when she called me at my house in Wisconsin and told me I would be the new director of the Lansing Youth Center. I worked with her on youth center activities for the next 9 years. I'm going to keep my comments very brief. I'm not going to go on and on about all the fun and crazy programs Patti planned for the kids here. You can check out the photo albums behind the counter or the photos down the hall here to see some of those crazy activities. There are a couple things I would like you to know about Patti and her involvement at the Youth Center. First and foremost, she felt that this place was for kids. The kids were the most important thing in this place. In fact, she'd be upset today that we've taken away a night of activities to honor her. She felt that the Youth Center was their place, where they could just be kids, a place where they could be safe, comfortable, and most of all, as everyone who knows Patti, to have fun. She was all about the fun. She planned activities and purchased games the kids liked. She knew what the kids liked because she took the time to ask them, and she learned about these things herself. Often adults assume that they know what kids like or what kids should like. Patti treated them as the experts and got them involved in the decisions that happened here. The second thing I want to mention is that she felt the kids came to the youth center deserved the best place and that her team of volunteers could make it. She didn't just accept that we got old furniture. She always tried to improve the place with new paint, new games, new activities. She demanded that it be clean and bright, even going around with a white glove after our new janitor was hired to make sure everything was clean. She always wanted everything in working order and the kids to have the latest and greatest music, games, and equipment. She would do whatever it took to make sure that these things happened. She asked for donations, she organized fundraisers, and always convinced people to help. It was hard to say no to Patti, and I know after 8 years that every time she called, I could never say no. She rarely took no for an answer if you tried. When I was the director here, I often compared the youth center to the bar on the TV show Cheers. Because of Patti, the youth center is truly a place where kids can go and everybody knows their name. The greatest tribute we can pay to Patti is to continue to provide opportunities for the youth of Lansing. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce former Mayor Dan Podgorski.
Thank you, Nancy. Recognizing the need for a safe place for school-age kids to go when not involved in extracurricular activities, the Village of Lansing in the mid-1990s under the direction of Mayor Bob West's administration proactively purchased this building, formerly the home of the Lansing Bible Church. As you've heard, converting the building to a usable and desirable place for youth to frequent proved to be quite a challenge. I can vividly recall the baptismal tank and tub that was just above and beyond the altar where the stage is now. That was quite a sight to behold, and imagine how that could come out. The village could not have asked for a more tireless worker whose vision of what the youth of our town needed in order to make the project a success than the longtime physical education teacher in School District 158, none other than Patti Leach. Patti led a long and arduous task of conversion and eventually transformation. The newly opened Lansing Youth Center in November 1997 looked much like the center does today, with 4 rooms for the children to choose which activity would consume their time and attention. The lounge, which you're in here, the TV room, computer room, and game room have all undergone numerous facelifts, renovations, and updates in the 13 years since the doors first opened, but they ultimately function in the same manner. This center was immediately adopted by many Lansing organizations and residents who have donated and continue to donate funds, equipment, furniture, and other items used here. Initially, those organizations recognized the face of the center, Patti Leach, and this made it easier and more acceptable to their membership to contribute. Now, of course, it wouldn't have mattered how nice the center was on the inside if we couldn't get any of our target market, the junior high and high school age youth, to use it. Well, Patti knew this all along, and she was constantly building the place up to her students. Within weeks of opening, our volunteer commission, whose job included chaperoning the center, we were getting all we could handle. Friday nights usually brought more than 100 kids out to the center, and in the spring, when we hosted 5th grade nights to entice the next group of eligible users, it was more like twice that number. Simply put, whether it was leading the renovation, soliciting community assistance, or bringing kids in to use it, Patti Leach was not going to let this youth center fail. 13 years later and still going strong, it's done anything but that. Success can be measured many different ways, but longevity is the one way that most folks cannot argue with. Surviving and thriving after 13 municipal budgets and 3 administrations says you're doing something right. Now, as we all know, Patti would have deflected much of the praise being heaped on her here today, and she would have recognized many others who've helped make the Lansing Youth Center a success. The original Youth Center Commission was critical, a sounding board and backup for whatever Patti was leading us to do, not to mention the many nights that included renovating or chaperoning. And I would just ask that those folks that are here tonight that were on the original Youth Center Commission, if you could just raise your hand and be noticed. Bob's up here, Chris, Val McHugh. How about a hand for those folks? They've been there a lot of time. Now, as we move forward to to stabilize and grow, hiring a full-time director to run the place and ensure it would endure, no matter who the elected officials were, was a key decision. Tina Wedig and Jenna Comer-Hill have brought experience in the field of youth programming to the youth center and solidified its place within our community. And how about a nice hand for Tina and for Jenna. The Patti Leach Youth Center will serve as a model for how successful youth centers across the country are built and maintained. A safe place for the children of our community to participate in a supervised yet loosely structured environment, a place where parents can rest assured knowing where their children are. Congratulations to the Village of Lansing, and here's to the next 13 years. Thank you.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mayor Norm Abbott.
And thank everybody for coming this evening. A little story about Patti Leach and I. I belong to the Lansing Lions Club, and when the youth center was being built and Patti Leach knew that I was in a Lions Club, she came to me and said, hey, the Lions Club likes to make donations to the village and to different police department, fire department. Could they make a donation to the youth center? And our Lions Club said, we could do something. She said, well, we'd like to have you donate everything for what we would call the Lions Den. And it's downstairs in the corner. And would you provide TV and do all the work in there, and the Lions Club would pay for it? I said, yeah, we would do that. And our Lions Club did donate with the help of Mayor West. At the time, he owned Lansing TV, and we got a real good cheap deal on a big TV. So we squeezed everybody we could to help make that a successful room down there. You know, what's sad this evening is the fact that so many things in life, as we do here tonight, we honor those people who have done so many great things in their life, and unfortunately it's sometimes after they're not here. So when Patti passed away, I saw her about a week before that, and I was just absolutely shocked when so many of us know Patti, that happened to her. And when they asked me if there was a possibility that maybe we could change the name of the Lansing Youth Center to the Patti Leach Youth Center, I thought it was a great tribute to Patti. And again, unfortunately, our good friend, Miss Leach, as most of the kids always called her, is not here to accept this great honor. But it's my pleasure, certainly tonight, to have the name changed to the Patti Leach Center, Youth Center. And we're going to ask the Builders Club tonight to go out this evening, and you don't know about that yet, but tonight we're going to ask you, the Builders Club, who's been a big responsibility here at the Youth Center, to go outside and unveil the new sign. So we're going to do that right now.